presentation.
I definitely use fear of speaking out about mental health, fear of seeking treatment for mental health, fear of letting anybody know that you suffer from any sort of mental health disorders, and the general fear of a society who doesn't know how to address the situation of mental health and prefers to cover it rather than. I do have a mental illness. I'm probably I've self-diagnosed myself to have anxiety, but I haven't been medically diagnosed. I would say that I have maybe symptoms of depression, generalized depression as well. And I'm a psych major, proud psych major, and just learning some of the things that I do in a learning class. I tend to kind of let them fall back on myself, and I use myself as the guinea pig to assess the situation. So I said, that sounds a lot like me. Maybe I should look into that more. That sounds like my personality. I probably would have responded like that in a situation. So I think that's how it came about. But overall, my interest in mental health kind of just peaked because I felt like there was something kind of missing with myself, and I wanted to find out more. Okay, so it has been a very rough road. I think my symptoms, they were triggered after a very traumatic, emotionally traumatic experience in my life. I was going through a very tough time, and I just felt as though I wasn't able to fully cope with what was going on. I wasn't able to cope with my emotions, and I felt like I didn't have any control over my body and over my thought processes. And recently, actually last year, I finally seeked help. I started going to a psychologist, and I participated in cognitive behavioral therapy in order to try and speak out, speak about some of the issues that I was facing. I've also utilized the services that UI provides. People don't know this, but for anybody out there who has any issue, you can go to the health center. Make sure you have your army insurance card, the one that UI gives you, and you can set an appointment and speak to a counselor, and that was really good. So, and that's a good stepping stone to see if you need to seek help that is more consistent, because of the high demand for people who want these services. Usually the appointments are far in between each other, so you can use that as a basis to know if you need like a more intensive therapy session with a private counselor. That person is crazy. That person, them have no sense. Maybe they probably abuse drugs, and that's why they're experiencing some of the things they're experiencing now, some of the mental disabilities or mental disorders. And just you don't really talk about it. You just you recognize that maybe somebody is crazy, but then you kind of leave them alone and not address the situation. Well, I started journaling a lot because, as I mentioned before, it was a very emotionally traumatic experience in my life. So I started off with that. I am a very spiritual person, so I combine my journaling with praying, and as I said before, like I seek medical help. So I went to the UE consults first, and then I went to a private practitioner. But I also try to reach out to my peers. So I have a loyal friend support group, and during this moment in time, like I never really spoke to my parents about personal issues, but I started talking to them about it to get another perspective. So I really was reaching out to people because I didn't want to be facing this crucial moment in my life by myself. Like I literally felt like I could not cope. Many days, like I just felt like I could not move on. Like it was just a weight that was on my shoulders that I just felt like I was trying really hard to hide it. But I realized that there are a lot of people who kept on picking up that I was just sad. Like they didn't know why I was sad, but they just noticed that there was something off with me, because I'm usually like a bubbly type of person, usually the one who is trying to get everybody to laugh and make sure everyone's okay, and I wasn't my normal self. So I'm really happy that I took the different methods, and I have to really shout out my friends and family because they were there for me through that traumatic time. So big up you guys. That would be to get help as soon as possible. Your life is worth it. Don't think that it's not a big deal just because it's not something that you can't physically see. If you have a cut, you go to the doctor. Just think about it as something wrong with it. Well, there is something wrong with you mentally, so go and seek help. I think it's very important. It's actually absolutely crucial for your overall wellness. And just don't be afraid to seek help. And you can speak about it as much as possible. Find somebody who's willing to listen. And if there's nobody willing to listen to you, talk to yourself. And I know that sounds crazy. A lot of people know that sounds crazy. But talking to yourself doesn't necessarily mean to be like verbally saying, "Hey Ashley, how are you today?" You can use a method like journaling, or if you don't really like to do that, you could channel your emotions in a different way. So you could write poems or stories or songs, so you can channel it creatively. But my one piece of advice is don't hesitate to seek help. You're important, and you're not going to be as beneficial as you think you are unless you are fully well, and full wellness includes mental wellness as well.